Welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about Magicka Nightblade PvE damage dealer build. You can find the written form on alcasthq.com/Azure. So first off, I want to thank Mashi and Selava for the help. They basically put together the build. I will also make sure to put the link of Mashi from Tamriel Foundry in the description, so if you have any questions that are really tricky to answer, then you better go to Tamriel Foundry, because he's playing Magicka Nightblade daily, so he has most of the answers for you. Anyway, so just to show you the stats that you can achieve with this build, you see we basically have 3k spell damage, that's with Molakina up, and this is also with aggressive Warhorn up, so we sit at 56k Magicka, 18.5k health and 11k stem. And you also see we have 70% spell critical, and we are using the Thief Mundus Stone. So the stats are really insane. Now let's just check out how we achieve this kind of things. First off, we are using health and Magicka buff food to max out everything. We also have the Minor Slayer. Now, I am a Dark Elf. Dark Elf is probably the best choice. A Altmer, like a High Elf, or a Breton also works. Now, gear wise, so on my website you will find two combos, one with Kina and one without Kina. So first off, we are using 5 pieces Necropotence, because you see the 5-piece bonus. While you have a pet active, your max Magicka is increased by 4k. Now wait a minute, where does a Nightblade have a pet? So the thing is, the dark shades, like the shades in general, count as a pet, so you get the extra Magicka from Necropotence. Then we are using 2 pieces Molakina. A heavy head and a medium shoulder would be the best setup, so we benefit from the Undaunted. All Magicka, and make sure to have as much divine traits as possible. Then on jewelry we are using 3 pieces Infallible Either. You also can use Moon Dancer if you want. I do think the crit gives a little bit more extra damage than Moon Dancer. Then on our first bar we're using the Master Inferno stuff, Precise. And on our second bar we're using the Maelstrom Inferno stuff, also Precise. So, why Precise and not Sharpened? If you have a full support group in Trials that debuffs the boss almost to 0, then Precise is better. But if you play in 4-man dungeons or alone, or like you don't have a lot of debuffs on the bosses in general, then Sharpened is the choice to go. Okay, now there is also a reason why we have the Master's Inferno on the first bar and not on the second bar. I will get to that in a second. So that's it about the gear. On my website you will find like a setup with 5 Necropotence, 3 Willpower and 3 Infallible or Moon Dancer, if you want to go check it out. If you don't like Molakina. Because it takes a while to get used to it, because you need to do 2 light attacks to get it to proct. It's not that easy. Nightblade rotation in general is not that easy. Now, champion points wise, so remember, like when you go check out the build from Machinet and Tamriel Foundry, some stuff might slightly be adjusted, just as a heads up. It's just the way I like it. I have 20 points in Thaumaturge, 1 point Staff Expert, then 83 in Elemental Expert, 28 Spell Erosion, 45 Elfborn. So those are the most important ones. Then 77 Arcanist, 100 in Magician, shit you don't see it, yeah whatever, 100% in Magician, it's somehow buggy here. And then we have 87 Hardy and 90 Elemental Defender. That's it about the champion points. Now, skill wise. So, our first bar, we have Flame Clench. So first off, like I was thinking, yeah, we could also use refreshing puff, but it actually, like if you have a fight with a lot of ads, this one might be better because it can hit several ads. But if it's a pure single target fight, this one deals more damage. Flame Clench. And you see like this stuff, like destructive touch abilities hit for 516 additional damage. That's why we use this one. So we have Flame Clench, Siphoning Attacks. Siphoning Attacks is on the first bar because of this here. Increases max Magicka by 8% while a Siphoning ability is slotted. That's why this one is on the first bar. Then Force Pulls. Force Pulls, it does a little bit more damage. You also could use Funnel Health if you want. It's kind of up to you. Then we have Mercy Resolve. This shit hits hard as fuck, like it's fucking OP. And we have Inner Light and Shooting Star. Shooting Star needs to be on the first bar because, let me check, where is it? You see, like, increase your max Magicka for each major skill ability slotted. So this gives 2% and this gives 2%, so we have 4% max Magicka. Plus we are using 5 light, 1 heavy, 1 medium, so we get another 6% from the undaunted metal. Really, really cool. Then on the second bar we have the Maelstrom stuff. You see, like, targets affected by Wall of Elements take 1.3k additional damage from your light and heavy attacks. That's a lot of more damage. Blockade of Fire, really strong AoE skill and single target. Crippling Grasp, really like the strongest dot that have Nightblades access to. Then we have the Dark Shades. So you also could use the other shades, but the thing is, you know, when we reapply the shades too early, the one with the archer, you teleport to it and it can cause some shitty deaths if you reapply it too early. So the dark shades are more safe to use. Plus they also like debuff the enemy, so they do 15% less damage. And then we have Impale, which deals a ton of damage in execute phase. Inner Light, extra magic again, and Soul Harvest. So now this particular setup, why is this? So first off, like, we are always weaving force pools together with light attacks, right? The moment we swap to this bar, you always want to make sure that dark shades are up because of the Necropotence set. We apply Crippling Grasp, then Wall of Elements, we swap back and start force pools weaving. Because as long as Wall of Elements is up, we get the extra light attack damage. And basically before it runs out, you always want to make sure to shoot the Assassin's Will on the bow, so you need to keep that constantly up. Wait. Like this skill here, it needs to be up at all times and shoot the spectral bow if you have. So then we basically weapon swap, cancel the flame clench, so you use clench and weapon swap. You see, you can easily weapon swap this. And back here we start again with Crippling Grasp, make sure shades are up, and then Wall of Elements, the same thing, weapon swap. The Wall of like cancel it with a weapon swap. Now the reason why we have Crippling Grasp here and not on the first bar is in execute phase with Impale. You basically want to keep up Crippling Grasp and Wall of Elements. That way you do not lose time by weapon swapping, because you don't have to go on this bar anymore. Maybe to reapply Mercy Resolve, but that's it. And we also want to use Soul Harvest in execute phase, because Impale is gonna hit hard as a fucking truck, believe me. So that's more or less about it. Nightblade is really tricky to play, especially with all that kind of stuff here, and you also, like, they have Catalyst passive. After drinking a potion you gain 20 ultimate, so you want to make sure to use your ultimate first and then drink the potion. It's really, really tricky, and it will take a lot of time till you get used to it. Then before I forget it, for AoE fights you always can swap out like Sep Ascents with Impale for example, and then you're good to go for AoE spam. So that's basically it. Again, if you want to get more really crucial information, you always can go on Tamriel Foundry on Machinate's forum thread. I will put the link into the description. He has been playing Magicka for quite long. Again, thanks as Selava and Mashi, because they basically made up the whole build and came up especially with the skill set up here for the rotation. Because it's really, like, we really minimized the weapon swap, so we always have the dots up and that kind of stuff, so it's really well thought through. Anyway, if you have any questions, you of course also can ask me in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you another time. Cheers.